What's going on, Jeromes? So the Minnesota Vikings had potentially the greatest free agent class in NFL history this offseason, mainly because the 2022 draft class wasn't doing poop. It happens, man. But one of the crown jewels of that class was Andrew Van Ginkel coming in from the Dolphins. Yes, experience with Brian Flores and Rock Valley. Woo, the pride of Rock Valley, Iowa. Stupid Badger, but don't hold that against them. And reuniting with Flores, and it feels so good. And you're thinking, all right, Andrew Van Ginkel, 2-year, $20 million deal, and just like, okay, he's going to be a bit of a fill-in on the edge, working in before Diamond Dallas Turner takes over, and he's just going to be a nice contributor. Maybe not a high-end guy. He's the 32nd highest paid edge rusher in the league by average, and you're thinking, okay, we'll just go from here. He'll be a fan favorite. He kind of looks like the logo, and we'll go from there. But no, Andrew Van Ginkel has turned in one of the most impressive defensive seasons so far for a Vikings defensive player in years. And he should and could be a bona fide defensive player of the year candidate. And the Vikings have to consider extending Andrew Van Ginkel, both as a reward as well as keeping him under control and under contract for the next couple of seasons. But there's a couple of factors that go in there. Number one, so why extend Van Ginkel? He was an instant team leader, hand in glove with Flores, tone setter, great for the culture, everything. And like we said, he is currently the 32nd highest paid edge in the NFL by average. And after the season that he's having, we need to bump that up a little bit. Plus, I know a lot of people who are cynical. It's like, well, he signed the contract, he's got to play it out. Well, it is fantastic for team culture to reward guys for work that they've done. And the Vikings have done that over the last couple of years with Kwesi and O'Connell, and this would just be another addition to that. His 86.5 PFF coverage grade is number 2 in the NFL amongst qualifying edge rushers, behind only Will Anderson of the Texans. 46 tackles, 8 sacks, 3 passes broken up, a forced fumble, as well as 13 tackles for loss and 2 pick sixes. Both lead the National Football League, and also is putting in a 12.2% pressure rate. So we said that the Defensive Player of the Year award usually boils down to whoever gets the most sacks or whoever gets the most interceptions, right? And it shouldn't have to be like that, because in terms of domination in multiple spots, Van Ginkel is doing that, and it's allowed Flores to be very multiple and really mix things up on defense, because Van Ginkel, you don't know if he's blitzing, you don't know if he's going to be sitting in the screen pass alleyways, you don't know if he's going to be dropping into coverage, which he's very adept at, you don't know if he's going to be setting the edge, you don't know what he's going to do. Right, and I feel like that versatility, as opposed to just being a specialist, I think that needs to matter at the end of the day. Also, like we said, is extension of Flores on the field. So if and when Flores stays here for a year, maybe 2, it would be important to have 4-3 on the field as well. But a couple other things. Number one, he is going to be 30 in July. So he is going to be extending past the wrong side of 30. He is under contract for one more season, but also the second year of his deal isn't guaranteed outside of $1 million of his $10.7 million base salary. More on that in a sec. Health-wise, so he did have a foot injury from this final game of the season last year at Miami. The Vikings are very cautious with that. And also you've seen him, they've taken him out of games just as like a load management thing, as well as sometimes the practices. But he has been pretty healthy. Like I feel like the concern about his foot, as well as some small nicks and bruises, which the Vikings have been overly cautious about this year, like really covers up the fact that he's been pretty durable. He's played full seasons every single year since 2020, so it's noteworthy. Plus, I think that he and his family want to stay here. I mean, they're a Midwestern family. Minnesota is great for the Iowa friends and fam to come on up, catch a game, and I think that they're very comfortable here in the Midwest, and I think that they'll want to stay, and I think that lends itself to potentially working out a deal where you don't have to break the bank. The other side's going to give up a little bit of leverage, but also you want to reward your guys. And like we said, only $1 million of his base salary next year is guaranteed. So the Vikings, and of course Rob Thug Life Brzezinski, they could definitely work something out where the Vikings protect themselves in case Van Ginkel does have a post-30-year-old fall off, but also rewards him. And the Vikings, only $10 million of his 2-year, $20 million deal is guaranteed. I think they could backfill in some guarantees for 2025, maybe 2026, essentially adding a couple of years of control. Like they could make this a 3-year extension, ripping up 2025, but effectively a 1-year deal where you backfill some guarantees and maybe another signing bonus in 2025, but 2026, 27, 28, maybe have him under control at a very reasonable base salary, but none of it is guaranteed. So the Vikings have flexibility. If Andrew Van Ginkel is still a stud, you got him. If not, you can move on. Relatively no muss, no fuss. Now, in terms of cash, I don't think we're going to be talking about the stratosphere. The Bosa, Josh Hines, Allen, Brian Burns, TJ, Myles Garrett sort of money. But could we be talking about Grenard? Average per season, yes, and I think that absolutely would be fair. And the Vikings do have the cap space to make it happen. So could ripping up 2025 and a 3-year, $60 million extension with about half of it guaranteed, mainly in 2025. Is that reasonable? Yes, I think it certainly would be. And for all the reasons that we mentioned. Van Ginkel and family wanted to stay in the Midwest and in purple. I think that makes a ton of sense, but we'll see what happens. But Van Ginkel is definitely having himself a career breakout season, and as we said, he should be in the thick THICC of the Defensive Player of the Year race, and he is a major, major reason why the Vikings have the numero uno defense in the National Football League. But your thoughts are thoughts. Vikings need to extend Andrew Van Ginkel. Meow. Right, meow. Let us know your thoughts, our thoughts, comment section. To do. Skull, production value.